Hey boys and girls, I've finished my drawing and I want to kind of expand this a little bit. I'm gonna try to detach my shapes from the vanishing point. Right now it looks like everything's drawn there. And this is a really good strategy for drawing three-dimensional shapes, but right now they look like they're all connected. I'm gonna try to make them all look like they're floating, but they're not actually connected to the vanishing point anymore. So that can be a little tricky. The one thing you need to understand is that we're really going to be working with some parallel lines now. So this art, you can tell, is already a little more mathematical than most. So parallel lines are two lines that are equal distance apart and they never crisscross. So what I'm going to do for this box here, we're going to kind of ignore everything else over here. I'm going to take my ruler and I'm thinking about this line right here. I'm going to slide this back, trying to keep my ruler parallel to this line. And I'm going to draw a straight line between these two lines of perspective. Lines of perspective are the ones that are going back in space. So there's that line right there. Now, how do I detach it with this side? What you do is you line up your ruler with this side here. So you have to imagine this is a backwards L. So I've got this, I want to keep it as parallel to that as possible, and I'm going to slide down until I reach where I ended here with this one. Then I'm going to slide over like that, parallel. Now that box looks like a solid box, and I can take my lines of perspective and kind of just erase them. I don't need those. Get rid of those. So that's one way. So that box should look kind of like it's floating. Try to get that corner a little bit neater. There we go. Now, same thing with this one. I've got this line of perspective coming down here. There's only one thing, one space to detach from the dot here. So I'm going to take this and this one's easy. I just slide it down and I decide how thick I want this and I draw the line. That's it. Then all I have to do is erase the rest of the lines of perspective. I don't need those. So this is where you got to be a really good, careful eraser. Lots of little bits of erasers flying around here. So this one's pretty dramatic looking. So I'm going to go to this side right here of my triangle. I'm going to slide it back, keeping it as parallel as possible. I'm going to draw a line within that space. And then I'm going to take my ruler and I'm going to line it up on this side, which also has the lines of perspective going from those corners. I'm going to take this and I'm going to slide it back until I run into the end here. Draw that. And then I can erase these lines of perspective. Okay. That's a little bit better. Now I'm going to do this one first. So this one here, because it's more forward, I need to know where it's going to end. I'm going to just do one line. So it's this line here, this side. So I slide this out because it's these two corners here, attach this line that have the lines of perspective. And so I just draw a straight line. And then I erase these lines of perspective. And actually, I technically should put my horizon line back in after the box. So there we go, like that. Get rid of this a little bit more. This is where I could use one of those erasers that is like a pen or just a normal pencil eraser. Now this one is going all the way back, technically. I still have this connected here. If I wanted to detach this is tricky because it's a curve. Well, my parallel line, I don't need my ruler. I just need to kind of almost draw like a letter C. So maybe I'm going to do it over here. And this one's always quite hard to get perfect because you have to imagine it within this, like it would be kind of almost like it's like here. So I'd kind of go like this. So that's probably more accurate. Let me erase this because this is behind. Then erase that line of perspective. So we've got that floating over there. This one here, I'm going to start with, I always like to start with the side here. So this corner and this corner, these lines of perspective, I'm going to draw this straight line here. And then this corner, these lines of perspective, slide up. Erase. Get that out. And then this one here, again, curve. You can see this a little bit better here. This one's like a frowny because of how it is. So I'm going to kind of go like this. A little bit of a curve like that. And then I can kind of get rid of these. This is never a very neat drawing, but that's okay. This is one of those things. It's just you have to have the lines, and then you are adding those and then erasing them. It's just part of how it is. Now this one looks tricky because a star, look at all this. So I'm going to do this by hand because I just want you to be able to see it without a ruler on top. So this line here is with these two lines of perspective. So I'm going to draw parallel to this line, parallel to that line. So I have to work off of the end of here. So this one goes this way, goes practically horizontal with the horizon line. Now this one is tricky because it looks like it really technically goes back this way, and we don't see that one. So it would go back. Now keep in mind how thick this is here. So this one, I'm actually just going to come up here. I'm going to kind of cheat. I'm going to make a line here. It's about the same thickness, about that as that section. And then this one, it might be like just a tiny little bit with this one here. So I can kind of erase those lines. I hope I didn't confuse you, but it's kind of hard to verbally describe some of how to do this, but we've got, it just takes some practice. Sometimes it takes some doing it a little bit wrong too to get it, but this is kind of how it goes. Like, cause yeah, it kind of looks like I should be able to have a line there, but no. So that's about what that one's like. So I challenge you to try it. It's not easy. Once you've mastered drawing all lines of perspective to the vanishing point, this starts to become a little bit more something you can visualize and practice. So good luck. I hope you do well.